That's how we act. Now that we're living large in the new studio. Coffee's never tasted better at 2:01 p.m. on a Sunday.
Hey, bro. That's just how it be sometimes.
We do what we got to do. If you're watching live video, if you're watching video right now, you can see the partially upgraded steel. We're not fully there
upgrades,
yet.
We got it's looking nice, it's looking functional, but the background, we got some big plans in store for y'all.
Yeah, we've made a lot of progress, I think.
Oh yeah,
we're up and coming. We're gonna beat out the Ben Shapiro show.
Oh yeah,
we're gonna beat out Charlie Kirk.
Beat out Louder with Crowder.
We're gonna beat out CBS,
Temple
CNBC.
IRL, CNN.
Bro, when the 2020 elections come around, we're gonna be beating out all the major news networks.
Fuck around and beat out Newsmax.
Facts.
At this rate, I'm sure they'll be up there still.
Yeah, probably.
No signs of slowing down with them.
We could literally beat out every single news network in the world. Well, I think we gotta give a thanks to our supporters.
We definitely have to give a thanks to our beautiful patrons for literally making all of this possible.
There's no way we could have done all this without your continued support. And you know what? I appreciate you.
Could not have, and still could not without if the support doesn't continue, considering we went way over budget.
Just to clarify, your continued support is appreciated and necessary.
Yeah. We're running the pod on a deficit. Kind of like the government, but worse because it's affecting my pockets.
Exactly. Welcome back to Head in the Office, everybody. We've got a special episode planned for you today.
Episode 20.
Yeah, I know we say we have a whole lot to talk about every single time we record, but I mean it this time.
Yeah, this time we actually have a lot to talk about. I was sitting there earlier, 3 hours, OPEC.
Yeah.
You'll see what I mean.
And if you don't know what OPEC is, you're gonna.
Oh, you will. You will know intimately what OPEC is.
We'll do some brief coverage of the news today. Just a little bit talking about what happened over the last week.
Not much crazy this week.
But then, as promised, we'll get into debunking every talking point you'll hear at your holiday dinners this year.
Exactly.
So that you, dear listener, are ready to combat your uncle that has drank the Kool-Aid, will we say.
Yes. Preparing you for what's to come.
Exactly.
Tomorrow, if you're listening to this, the day it drops.
Exactly. If you celebrate Thanksgiving, then you will be prepared for your Thanksgiving feast. When politics is inevitably brought up, you'll be prepared to combat everything that you hear.
Exactly. You're ready for all the smoke.
Just as we are.
Just as we are all the time. If you're a smoke demon like us and ready to just fight with anybody in your family about this, just for your own pure enjoyment,
think of us as your mentor.
Get the pen and paper.
Think of us as like, you're our intern and we're exploiting you for labor while we're making a lot of money.
Exactly. Get ready to take notes because this is about to be a lecture.
True. This is about to be an hour lecture. Think of us as like we're like the boss.
Yeah, we're like the boss.
You work for us.
If you want to simplify it, there's a power dynamic here, and we hold all the power.
Yeah. But we still don't support capitalism. But if we have all the power, that's fine, I think. So I think before
first
we get
dive
into the
news, a 5-star review.
But yeah, first we got to talk about a 5-star review. This one this week is from author Ain't Hush with subject line "Love It." No way. They said, "I am so excited for Wednesday every week to listen to these guys on the way to class.
Every week?
It's nice listening to slightly more lighthearted stuff considering how dark leftist media can be."
Hey, we try. Sometimes we think that we're too dark.
I was going to say, sometimes I really worry that the way we talk about stuff is too depressing.
Sometimes I feel like I'm a little too doom and gloom.
Yeah. But apparently we're not. Apparently we're lighthearted.
We're lighthearted.
We're lighthearted guys.
Maybe we're a little funny.
Probably not. I appreciate the 5-star review. If you want to have your review read, leave it on Apple Podcasts.
Keep them coming.
Leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. We'll get to it and support the show on all the social medias, Patreon, YouTube, TikTok, everything.
TikTok,
Just
how it goes.
Go and check us out. So we got to get into the real news coverage a little bit first. Just a little bit of synopsis for the week.
Precedent.
So on Monday, the $1 trillion bipartisan infrastructure deal was signed into law by Joe Biden after it passed the House and the Senate.
Oh, yeah.
Around the middle of the week, the House censured Paul Gosar for promoting an anime video that depicted him killing Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
Love it.
Yeah.
Just the Attack on Titan video. Yeah. Just ripped the Attack on Titan opening.
Yeah.
Like deep faked his face and was it Lauren Bobart's face onto like Aaron and Mikasa.
Yeah.
And they were just going at the female Titan,
And then Thursday, talks are on the social infrastructure bill, the Build Back Better plan, the $1.75 trillion plan. That began on the House floor, and Kevin McCarthy tried to do something similar to a filibuster, and he talked for 8 hours on the House floor.
Literally 8 hours.
Yeah. Talked for 8 hours Thursday night. And you may be thinking, well, I thought the filibuster was just for the Senate. It is. But in the House, you can do this thing where party leaders are able to talk as long as they want about anything.
Oh, yeah. And it's not even like, from what I understand of it, it's not even like an actual rule that party leaders can talk whatever they want. It's like a respect thing. Like, because you lead your party, we'll give you all this time.
Yeah. So he talked for 8 hours, but then I think at like 5 o'clock on Friday, 5 a.m.
Morning.
In the morning. Yeah. In the morning on Friday, the $1.75 trillion bill passed on a party line vote, 220 to 213, with one Democrat, Jared Golden from Maine, voting against the bill.
Wow, bro saw all the spotlight Joe Manchin and Kirsten Sinema were getting.
And he's not going to get any of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Nobody, I don't know who he is.
Just us. We're the only people that will cover this.
Yeah, so that passed the House. I guess we'll see if it passed the Senate next week, probably. True. We'll see if anything happens with that. Probably not. Maybe an early Christmas gift will be them investing very little into clean water. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe
early Christmas gift, them investing into Enter systems.
Yeah, true. True. And then early on Friday, or maybe it was like the afternoon, Kyle Rittenhouse was acquitted of all charges.
Crazy day that Friday was.
Yeah.
Absolutely crazy.
And we'll get into more talk about Kyle Rittenhouse because it's going to be brought up at your Thanksgiving dinner 100%.
It has to. Like, there's no chance that somebody in your family isn't like, so what'd you guys think of the self-defense?
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah, no, someone's definitely going to bring it up, especially because Kyle got away with it. Dude got 2 legal kills and got to maim a person legally. So they're definitely going to bring it up. Scary precedent, but we'll get into that in a moment. Yeah. And I think now we can get on to the real content.
Get your pen and paper out, people.
Exactly. We are, in a way, pitting you against your family members.
Exactly.
We're heightening the contradiction between you and your uncle.
All for our enjoyment.
Yeah. All for the content, because it's inevitable that politics is going to be brought up during the holiday season.
It has to.
And I would say that these are mostly, similar to Kyle Rittenhouse, mostly for self-defense.
Yeah, exactly. These are if you're provoked.
But you could use these for offense if you want to.
Exactly. Because if you're anything like me, you will bite at any little thing that your family gives you.
Exactly.
And just go at them.
Exactly. So we're going to start with debunking conservative talking points. Okay. And you can imagine we've got a lot more conservative talking points than we've got liberal ones to talk about, but they're all very important.
All very important. All
so the
very
first one,
pertinent topics.
The first talking point that I want to touch on is Kyle Rittenhouse did nothing wrong, and that's why he was acquitted. It was self-defense.
Did nothing wrong. A jury found that he didn't do it.
Yeah, because our criminal justice system historically has always been really good.
And it's historically foolproof, but OJ still did something wrong.
We didn't have a video last week that was primarily about how bad our judiciary system is. Nothing like that.
I love the just picking and choosing between the judiciary, because the same people. OJ definitely did it because OJ definitely did it. Like let's be real here. Like how Kyle did it.
Yeah. Let me highlight how insane this precedent is.
Okay.
A 17-year-old from another state crossed state boundaries with an AR-15 to go to a protest he had nothing to do with, a counter protest, to protect property that wasn't his.
Yeah.
And he killed 2 people, and that's fine.
I would like to point out, no one else was really harmed in this protest.
No.
Like, there were no other altercations. What is it about this one kid that got people so riled up?
Yeah.
Maybe, it was the AR-15 in the already charged crowd. Mm-hmm. Just maybe.
Bro was a loser.
Bro cleans up graffiti.
Yeah, he cleans up graffiti.
Fucking narc.
For no reason. I don't understand. That boggles my mind that you can go and protect property that isn't your own and people are okay with it if you end up killing somebody over it.
And people champion you.
Yeah,
I've
you're
seen
a hero.
So many people calling him a hero. I'm sure one of your family members will call him a hero.
Yeah. Undoubtedly. And he's gonna. Didn't you say that he's already getting internship offers?
He's been offered internships with Republican congressman people.
It's not even surprising.
No, not at all.
This dude's a killer.
I saw this one Onion article that said Kyle Rittenhouse was sentenced to 30 years of CPAC appearances.
Yeah, that's the one thing he'll have to endure, but he's going to get all the attention that he ever wanted.
He's going to get so much fucking money.
This is the conservative dream.
So much money.
Killing somebody, then being championed as a martyr.
No, it literally is the conservative dream. Mm-hmm. There are so many, I don't know if you all are familiar with this one dude on TikTok, but he basically popped off. He got out of prison, he popped off talking about how when he was 12, his best friend raped his little sister, and so he killed him. Yeah. And so all this dude's comment section is, "You're a hero. You shouldn't have gone to jail."
Yeah.
You're not a hero, dog.
No.
I'm sorry. If something you cannot respond by killing somebody like that, you know?
At the very least, that dude was somehow personally connected to the murder.
Exactly.
Kyle Rittenhouse didn't know these people.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah.
Because there's been comparisons drawn kind of to that, like not necessarily, but there's been things that people have said like, well, the people that he killed, like one was a sexual predator, the other was like a criminal, something like that, like harmed somebody. Like, first of all, Kyle Rittenhouse couldn't have known that.
Not at all. There's literally no shot.
He wasn't out there trying to do like vigilante justice. Like he didn't know that was happening. Even if he did, why would we ever accept it as okay for a civilian to kill someone for committing a crime?
See, that's
what's the point of having a criminal justice
conservatives
system?
Love to do that because anytime you hear a story about how somebody went out and killed a rapist or went and killed a bunch of rapists, they are championed. Like, I'm sorry, rape is a horrible thing. Absolutely horrible, right? You can't go and kill somebody though.
No.
You can't go and extrajudicially murder somebody.
What's the point of having any kind of standards in the criminal justice system if vigilantes can just go and kill them?
Literally.
Yeah.
It's so fucking atrocious, dude.
But anyway, Kyle Rittenhouse, he got off on basically technicalities in the law, at least when it comes to him carrying a gun, being a minor carrying a gun in Kenosha. There was some weird loophole in the law that got him out of that.
He couldn't have carried a short barrel gun, which is classified as anything under 16 inches, and his AR was 16 inches. The barrel was 16 inches.
Because carrying a rifle in an urban setting is just normal.
I understand that there has to be like legal cutoffs, like explicit legal cutoffs, but like, come on, dog. 16 versus 15, there's no fucking difference.
Was his gun then classified as a hunting rifle?
I think so.
Yeah, because he's doing some big game hunting in a fucking city.
Oh, yeah, literally. He did do some hunting.
He literally did some big game. I'm so sick of the legal system. And he mostly, another part of the reason that he got acquitted is because the prosecution kind of sucked.
Dog. Like, bringing up Call of Duty?
Yeah.
You gotta be kidding me.
They did the classic, Kyle Rittenhouse plays video games, so he's violent.
Yeah, he really brought up this dude's TikTok username as like a way to condemn him. 4 doors, more whores. That's kind of hard.
That's so stupid.
I can't imagine if I was ever like somehow within like in a criminal trial and I had to testify and I get on the stand being cross-examined and some dude goes, so you run a podcast called Head in the Office.
Would be fucked. I'd be over.
One of these titles, Senate degradation kink.
Yeah. How about you explain that?
How about you explain John Cox and balls to the jurors?
Easily.
So I couldn't do it, bro.
Let me in there. Let me debate.
Let me at him.
I wonder how much the prosecution being bad was their fault or just the fault of the judge because the judge wasn't letting them debate anything of substance.
It's definitely both.
Yeah.
It's definitely both. But
yeah, the judge.
Holy shit, some of the lines this dude took.
The judge literally said afterwards, he said that the defense had the best jurors you could have asked for. Or
that's
he said,
not appropriate.
Or maybe he didn't say the defense. He just said they were the best jurors you could have asked for.
That's just not appropriate. And no matter the context, you can't fucking do that as a judge.
I'm sure he was talking about like, oh, they were really respectful and they took their time to come to like a decision and stuff. I'm sure that's what he was talking about.
Yeah, maybe.
But oh my God, like that's just a complete mask off moment.
And
just
the optics of it all.
Completely revealing what the criminal justice system's all about. It's just about like who's in control of your trial. And also, like, your political ideology. Like,
yeah. Oh, my God.
Jesus.
Yeah. As we've talked about, judiciary is a political body.
Yeah.
It is a very political body. And it's like, even like, despite all the legalities, because this whole case exists within a legal gray area.
Yeah.
It exists on the line, no matter how you look at it. Dude's morally wrong.
Oh, yeah.
Dude should not have been there, no matter what. You are 17 years old. You have absolutely no right to take the law into your own hands like this.
You can't kill people. That's the summary. You can't murder somebody.
Exactly.
Oh, my God.
You can't just insert yourself into a hostile position and go and kill people.
Yeah.
Like, sure, I'll say it's self-defense, whatever. I really don't give a shit that it was self-defense when he shouldn't have been there anyway, especially considering the adults that he was counter-protesting with were not doing that. He lied about being a medic to, like, go in there. Bro was just, he just wanted it.
He had lifeguard training.
Bro was a lifeguard.
Bro had lifeguard training. Yeah, like... If you like the argument is entirely that he was defending himself, and that may be true.
Sure.
If you strip the situation of all of its context,
yeah, and
you just look at the exact moment when he shot somebody or shot the 3 people, like yeah, sure, he was defending himself in that instance. But when you look at the case as a whole and realize what he was there to do, you know that he wanted to get a kill,
and it's like
he was waiting to be provoked.
I'm sorry, but I cannot accept arguments based purely on whether or not something is legal or not.
Oh, yeah.
Case in point, slavery was legal. Like, what is legal does not have any standing when it comes to what is moral. They overlap a little bit, but one doesn't necessitate the other.
Yeah, law by nature is an attempt to codify morality.
Yeah.
But as we've seen, it has been very bad at doing so.
It is imperfect.
Yes.
It is imperfect. So you're going to have cases like this slip through the cracks.
Especially when the law upholds capitalism, which is an inherently immoral system.
And upholds white supremacy because it has been built that way.
And has upheld slavery and Jim Crow laws.
Built for these systems.
Plessy v. Ferguson.
Yeah.
Legal segregation. Like, come on.
Oh, and the NRA, which is a whole nother issue.
Yeah.
The NRA has got its hands all over this implicitly in one way or another.
All right. So moving on to our next one. Gage, if I said to you, if pretend I'm like a conservative family member of yours.
Okay.
And we're at Thanksgiving dinner, Christmas dinner, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
You know, whatever holiday, whatever your flavor of holiday is.
Eating the turkey a little bit.
Yeah. And I say, Joe Biden is raising our gas prices.
I would call you a fucking idiot.
How do you retort?
I would call you an absolute fucking idiot because as I've learned like over the course of all day today, dude has like virtually no control over gas prices here in America at all.
Yeah.
You want to know what does control gas prices?
I do want to know.
You want to know? It's countries in the Middle East and a little bit of Africa known as the OPEC nations.
Yeah.
You know? It's the OPEC nations and shit. They supply 40% of the world's crude oil. They are the largest oil producers in the world, right? But I mean, this barely even scratches the surface of it all. Let me get into the show notes here. This another implicit thing, Hurricane Ida. Hurricane Ida in the Gulf of Mexico disrupted all oil production there. That contributes directly to a supply shock in the system.
Well, that's because Joe Biden controls the weather.
I mean, that's like, if we're talking about things that Joe Biden has control over when it comes to gas prices, it would be climate provisions. Bro could actually control future gas prices.
Not short term, though.
This is very long term.
I was more diving into the conspiracy that like they have weather controlling like software and stuff like that.
Wouldn't be surprised with that talking point. But anyway, the pandemic also definitely slowed down the supply chain. Okay. We know about all these supply chain disruptions. We've been talking about them like the life of the pod.
Yeah.
That's like been half of the pod is just talking about the supply chain and the bipartisan deal.
We had an episode entirely dedicated to the supply chain, like, I don't know, a month ago or so.
Hell yeah,
like,
we did.
Our listeners know that there's been supply chain issues, and oil isn't going to be immune to that.
Oh, God, no.
Especially because oil is such an important like commodity for our consumption. Because
considering how oil works and how oil is shipped around, it is like the supply chain.
Oil is such an important commodity that it is taken out of the equation when you try to measure inflation.
Oh, yeah.
Because it changes so much. Like, they do not calculate oil prices into inflation.
You literally can't just not drive.
Yeah.
Especially in this country when we have absolutely no public transit, no high-speed rail.
Right, like if gas was like $8, what am I gonna do?
I just gotta buy it. I literally just have to.
I can't just walk. Like I'm never gonna get. Like I have to buy gas
in LA, where gas could very reasonably hit $8 an hour. You just have to buy it because you got like $8 a gallon. Yeah, an hour. Shut the fuck up. You just have to buy it. There's no way you're walking like 10 hours to work.
Yeah,
and like Jesus Christ, a work day. In like places like LA, when you have crazy commutes, it's gonna cost you like fucking
your whole paycheck for
$30 a day just to drive to work.
It's gonna cost you your paycheck for the day.
That's atrocious.
Like
that's horrible.
All the money you make is gonna go directly back into transportation.
That's literally horrible.
And that's Joe Biden's fault.
And there are no like governmental price controls here.
Yeah, no.
You know, which would help a lot.
Well, it's even if we somehow passed some kind of price control system, it's a global market.
Yeah.
Like globalism frustrates democracy a lot of time. Even if we had a democratic system, which we don't, by the way. But if we did, it still frustrates it. And like you said, 40% of the world's oil supply is controlled by nations that are like in the Middle East, surrounding the Middle East, or just have like the most oil reserves.
It's like Iraq, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Nigeria, Algeria.
Yeah. All the countries around the Persian Gulf, and then Venezuela.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, those are the OPEC countries. But like, speaking of the foreign policy behind oil, let's just get into a little bit more. Previously, at one point during the pandemic, I want to say it was when it first started, right? Around like May.
Yeah.
May of like the first lockdown.
2020. Yeah.
There was a massive oversupply of oil going on due to Saudi Arabia and Russia's price war.
Yeah, and people stopped driving also.
They were just continuing to undercut each other's prices. People weren't driving, so there was less demand. Nobody could keep up with the cheap cost of oil barrels. And so they were literally giving away barrels for free.
Yeah, we could have got some barrels, put them in the stew. That would have smelled great.
Just bam, just right there.
That would have smelled really
a
good.
bunch of sticky crude oil.
Yeah.
You know, we could have just done that. Literally giving away barrels
our own
for free.
Exxon.
Exactly. And it's not like they can stockpile these things.
No.
Because they quite literally have to keep production going, or else their economy would fail.
Or else probably the global economy just falls apart.
Especially in a place like Saudi Arabia that literally just relies on their oil.
And Venezuela, too.
That is their thing.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. It's just fucking oil, right? And so when we reopened, the oil market was not prepared for production to begin again, and the market couldn't handle the stark rise in consumption. And just like diving more into how the market, quote unquote, market works for this. Funnily enough, Investopedia itself, like, you can't get more capitalist than that.
You can't.
You cannot get more capitalist.
Its name is Investopedia.
And stock bro than Investopedia. They give away the game. They say that oil prices are not entirely controlled by regular market factors like supply and demand and the general public's affinity for the product. That's usually how commodities function.
That's how capitalism works.
That's
apparently.
how commodities are supposed to function. These are driven by speculation in the futures market.
Yeah.
The supply and on the supply and demand end, we find that OPEC nations produce, again, 40% of the world's oil, while the United States produces around 15%, which is surprising. I didn't know that we produce that much oil.
Yeah.
Right? But I mean, again, we'll get into that later.
West Virginia, brother.
West Virginia, Mountain Mama. Reuters.com reports that right now, oil producers are happy, oil producers being OPEC nations and like pretty much private corporations around the world, in addition to even here, the 15% of oil that we export here, private. All private.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
All private. And it's funnily enough, they lease government land.
Let's start a nonprofit for oil.
Jesus Christ. Nationalize the oil industry, mind you. That'd just be better. It'd literally just be better for the consumer.
Yeah, maybe we're missing something. But before we started recording, Gage and I were talking about, like, why doesn't the U.S. just buy the oil directly and then sell it for like a small profit? You can get rid of the oil or the gas tax at that point.
Yeah, and this is
I don't understand. Like, I mean, other than it threatens corporate profits, yeah, but like, why would we not just like the mail system?
Yeah,
like you still have to pay to like send mail around. Like you got to pay for stamps, but it's much cheaper than having to pay like a private corporation. Yeah. And also, if the mail system was like privatized, Wyoming wouldn't get mail. Because it would not be profitable to deliver mail to Wyoming.
Like, bro, I would much rather buy USPS flat rate than FedEx. It's just cheaper and it's better and it's easier and it gets there quicker. Yeah. It's an efficient system. Yeah. I'm sorry. But like,
it cuts out the middleman.
Facts. Back on topic to oil. What the fuck? Where was I? Reuters.com reports that right now oil producers are very happy with the price of oil because why wouldn't they be? It's increasing all of their revenue across the board. They are profiting immensely from all this.
Especially because the economy, like Gage said, was shocked with the return of normal business.
Yes, there was a massive like supply shock, then followed by a massive demand shock.
Yeah.
And so they're just raking in the money, and they are actively choosing to keep the supply tight right now.
Yeah.
And they're citing reasons like market instability due to the futures market right now is fucked. And also future pandemic like lockdowns, even though there's no way in hell we're going back to
lockdowns.
Not
a chance, dog.
There's no way.
Schools are literally getting rid of their mask mandates like after the holiday. Like they've announced like after this Thanksgiving break that a lot of schools are getting.
Even after Thanksgiving break? Not even like next semester. Yeah. After Thanksgiving break?
After Thanksgiving break.
That's actually, there's no way in hell we're going to do another lockdown. No. I'm sorry, but like unless there's another super variant that comes around, there's not going to be a crazy supply shock like
I feel like even if there's another super variant that is discovered, it's not going to change anything.
People are too unwilling to go back to like what we should be doing in a pandemic sense.
These parents are literally ghouls. Like they are ghouls to get their kids back in school and
look
getting
at
sick.
Like any school board meeting.
Yeah.
Just whip up all the Virginia school board meetings and you'll see the hog ass moms coming through. You know, the PTO so moms. Oh my God.
There's no chance that we're ever getting another lockdown.
So essentially like a lot of what's happening with oil prices is OPEC just not playing ball.
Yeah.
They just do not want to give oil away.
And also Joe Biden literally said at the town hall like in September that he's not talking to OPEC at all. Like he just hasn't done it.
And that's the funny thing is that Joe Biden like traditionally isn't even the one to talk to OPEC. It is the private corporations that talk to OPEC.
Yeah.
Like they buy from the suppliers.
I'm sure the president has some amount of sway.
They definitely have a sway when it comes to like foreign policy. There are implicit things right there. Yeah. Like I know right now there's like some Saudi prince that was just implicated in a murder of like a U.S. citizen and Joe Biden's kind of like maybe going to be hard on that.
Yeah. Saudi Arabia has a really good track record of treating U.S. citizens with respect.
Oh, yeah, especially U.S. journalists.
Especially Jamal Khashoggi.
Oh, my goodness. And then we have a really good track record of defending our own citizens.
Yeah. Gotta love that.
And not Donald Trump just straight up saying, like, hey, we can't really do anything about that.
Yeah, sorry, dog.
Sorry, bro. That's it.
We literally, because if we upset Saudi Arabia, then we don't get our oil, and we literally need our oil.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, Jamal Khashoggi. That's just what happens. God, fuck, I hate capitalism.
It's like oil prices, quite literally not a function of Joe Biden.
No.
You know what I mean?
He can't set them. And also, people that say this, like, point to a policy decision where he is, like, raising the price of gas. It doesn't make, I mean, it's just an example of the president getting labeled with all of the struggle that the economy is taking on.
Exactly. And speaking of policy positions that people love to point to when they're talking about the rising price of gas, energy independence, baby.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've like been scrolling through Instagram comments, maybe some conservative Twitter threads if you're a demon like me and you just seek the smoke, right?
TikTok.
And you've seen so many people talk about, well, under Trump, we were energy independent.
Uh-huh.
What does that mean? And now we're not. But what does energy independence mean?
Yeah, guys, do you have an answer for that, dear listener? Yeah,
do you guys know what energy independence mean?
If your uncle brings this up, ask him, what's energy independence?
Let me
play the uncle. He would say, well, that means that the U.S. is creating all the oil that we need.
Oh.
Or all the energy that we need is coming right from the U.S.
My sweet summer child. You could not be more wrong.
You couldn't be if you tried.
You quite literally could not be more wrong. All that energy independence means is that we are creating more oil, natural gas, coal than we consume.
Yeah, we're exporting more than we're importing from other countries.
Which one would think intuitively that means that, so we're like using what we produce. No. We are not using what we produce. No. We are still exporting oil.
Yeah.
Like exporting all that shit.
You know what energy independence really is? I call that breaking even.
Kind of. Yeah, like essentially that's it. It's just profits. Like we're profiting off of energy now.
It's a bad term. It's a very bad term.
It does not mean what people think it means, right? And so this quite literally sent me down a fucking rabbit hole because in one of the articles that I was reading, it told me that the U.S. only takes 10% of its oil supply, only imports 10% of its supply from OPEC nations.
Yeah.
And I was like, maybe that like combats what I was thinking before.
No.
That OPEC nations are setting the price. Because the U.S. imports mostly from Canada and Russia, surprisingly.
Right.
That's where we get most of our oil imports. Guess where Canada and Russia get their oil from?
Probably the United States.
Saudi Arabia and the United States.
Yeah. Okay, there we go. I was half right.
And that's where I stopped because I couldn't keep going and like trace where all the oil is coming from because it's a big fucking circle jerk.
It's literally like the Iron Triangle, but for oil.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Like specifically with us in Canada. Mm-hmm. Why are we like just trading oil back and forth? What's the function of that? Wouldn't it just be cheaper for like consumers involved if the U.S. oil just was given to U.S. consumers and Canadian oil given to Canadian consumers and we gave each other what we needed?
One would think. Because
if there's trade of oil between both the countries, like you don't need it. It doesn't need to be there. No. You could just keep it there.
Nationalize this. Actually, haven't countries in the past tried to nationalize the service?
Venezuela tried to nationalize their oil industry and then basically got politically invaded by us.
Yeah, no, they did.
Yeah.
Yeah, we planted like CIA agents and like planted a bunch of propaganda. I mean, and it didn't even really work. Like that was one of our more unsuccessful kind of political coups. But like any country that tries to nationalize their oil service just gets absolutely bombarded from all the global north countries.
Like, dude, the energy independence talking point, I didn't even know how actually insane it was until I had to look it up.
Yeah.
And it's just got me wondering, maybe if I would have learned this thing, like any of this stuff, anywhere else, I would know who to hold accountable.
Yeah. I mean, that's probably one of the reasons they don't tell you.
That's exactly why I've never been told.
Yeah.
Is to just keep me in the dark and just keep blaming whatever fucking president there is.
I'm a political science student, and I've never understood what energy independence is until now.
Yeah.
And I know international relations students that also do not know what energy independence or even OPEC is.
And I quite literally hear the term energy independent all the time on Fox News.
I'm watching the news, reading the news, involved with politics every day of my life, and I've never heard of it. But like gas is one of our most important commodities that we have in the United States.
Literally, without oil here in the United States, we would not be able to function because of our lack of public transit, our lack of high-speed rail. It's just nothing.
Our lack of renewables.
We would crumble as a society, and thus the world economy would crumble. So it's crazy how we just be playing with prices like this. And we just be playing this game, giving oil back and forth to each other, and then literally just jacking up the price. It's collusion.
Then we blame all of our climate change issues on China.
Oh, yeah.
And then we blame China for their use of like natural gases and oil and stuff and their polluting the environment, which they do, but they're literally still developing. Like, what are we doing?
And that's another thing that I wanted to get into because still talking about energy independence and like policy, like what is Joe Biden's role in energy independence? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
your uncle would love to talk about the Keystone Pipeline, which was never built.
Oh, he's gonna bring it up.
And he's gonna bring it up.
Your uncle, your dad, grandpa, whoever you're arguing with, grandma, they're gonna bring it up.
Like, 1, the Keystone Pipeline was never built. 2, its function was to bring like oil from Canada here. 3, what's the fucking point when we just give oil back to Canada?
Yeah.
Literally, what is the point when we're importing and exporting from Canada the same good? Literally the same good.
Mm-hmm.
What is that? What is up with that? You know what I mean? Yeah. And the only other thing that this dude could really do is ban fracking, which he's already said. He said during the debates that he would not ban fracking.
Yeah. Even Amy Klobuchar said she would ban fracking.
Yeah.
But Joe Biden couldn't.
It's either like destroy the environment or destroy the environment.
Yeah.
Like that's what it is. That's the only reason to like keep oil. Like that's the only thing he could do for oil. And he is destroying the environment.
And go to the COP26 and literally take a nap.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I think that summarizes it on the gas talking point. But, you know, that's just how it be.
Hopefully you absorbed any of that. Like,
I guarantee that your uncle won't.
Oh, definitely not.
Next talking point that I think we need to debunk. Joe Biden. He's flooding the country with immigrants, and that's bad.
Oh, the border's wide open. Anybody can just walk in.
The greatest embarrassment for our country is the border.
Simultaneously, anyone can walk into the country, but also Joe Biden is continuing the cages.
Oh, true. The greatest embarrassment to our country is immigration. It's the border, but it's not, Americans living paycheck to paycheck, having no access to health care. We're actively destroying the earth.
Yeah.
People can't afford housing. People are working jobs that they don't care about. None of those things are embarrassing.
Food insecurity.
That's not embarrassing.
No.
That's actually good.
Being the second or third poorest OECD nation, crazy.
Yeah.
Not embarrassing
none of
at
that
all.
is bad. But
immigrants.
Joe Biden flooding the country with immigrants is bad. And I just want to say, Joe Biden is 100% not flooding the country with immigrants.
Not at all.
He is using Trump-era policies to send immigrants away. We've talked about this before. He's using Title 42. He used Title 42 when all the Haitian immigrants were trying to come to the country after natural disasters. Their president got assassinated, bad stuff.
If you may recall, do not come.
Yeah. But he used Title 42, a Trump-era policy that says we can reject immigrants if they're thought to have an infectious disease.
Yeah.
And he used that, because we're in a pandemic,
to
reject
that any of them had
almost
an infectious
a
disease.
vast majority of Haitian immigrants and deport them to the country that they were fleeing from, that we had a hand in destabilizing, that we were one of the primary sources of their destabilization. Like, Joe Biden's not flooding the country with immigrants. He's being just as harsh as Donald Trump was, but maybe it's just a little bit less brutal.
Yeah, it's just less brutal on like the news end of it. On the aesthetic end of it, it is less brutal.
Instead of kids in cages, it's just like
kids and their parents in cages.
Kids and their parents in like a detainment facility.
Like
it sounds a little bit better. And like liberals just have stopped talking about immigration as a whole. And now conservatives are back on Biden is being terrible on immigration because he's letting everyone in. Both of them are wrong.
No, like quite literally, it's simultaneously you could see on the same Fox News broadcast within the same hour. It's the border is wide open, but also why isn't Kamala going to these border facilities? Oh, look, Ted Cruz went. Yeah. AOC crying at the border. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. And like Gage said, I want to remind you, Vice President Harris earlier this year went to Guatemala and said, if you're thinking about coming to the United States, do not come.
Don't do it.
Yeah. Because she was just saying that, like, stay in your country, you're not going to get accepted. That's basically
they
what
said.
The
try to go through the
was.
embassy, the already like overworked embassy in whatever country you're in.
Yeah. So there's no evidence that the United States is being flooded with immigrants, and even if it was, even if more immigrants had started to get through because of Joe Biden, or even if they are, immigrants have ultimately contribute a net positive to the system.
Oh, yeah. They take less because they literally cannot take more as they don't have Social Security numbers.
Yeah.
They are paid less because they don't have Social Security numbers.
They can't advocate for unions because the person they work for would literally deport them.
All they do is contribute. They are a net gain to the system.
They can be paid dirt cheap because if they try to push back against their employer, they'll be like, all right, I'm calling ICE.
Exactly.
And that happens.
Yeah.
Like ultimately, they are not a burden to the system.
Oh,
what
but
is
they're
a burden
taking
to the
your
system
jobs.
is literally like Texas Republicans.
Yeah. But immigrants are taking your jobs, bro. What jobs?
Yeah.
Apparently, there's a massive labor shortage. Maybe we should let more in.
Yeah, I mean, the narrative's always that they're like stealing jobs and that they're going to come in and like hurt people. You're more likely to be hurt by a Texas man than you are by an immigrant.
And it's so funny because the people talking about them taking jobs are like blue collar workers. They're like middle management.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, nobody's taking your middle management job.
Yeah.
You fucking dickhead.
You don't want to go work in Southern Texas for $4 an hour.
I promise you, you do not want to do landscaping for $4. You don't want to do back-breaking work.
Yeah.
For less than our already abysmal minimum wage.
Like, and Republicans are the ones saying that those are the jobs nobody wants to work. Mm-hmm. They acknowledge that.
Yeah.
And then they get mad when immigrants come in and get paid dirt little for a life that is like marginally better than the one they experienced in their country from South America.
Literally, bro.
Like, there's just no evidence to support any of the attacks on the immigration system or any of the attacks on like immigrants in general that Republicans levy. And ultimately, it comes from this deeply racist place inside of their soul where they fear the white majority dissipating.
Oh, no, it's not even deep within their soul because Tucker Carlson literally says it on his broadcast, the top-rated national news broadcast.
It's become more and more explicit, especially over the last 10 years. Like, not even just in our country, but even in Europe, a lot of the far-right agitators or even candidates, they run on a policy of, I'm going to keep the immigrants out.
Oh, yeah.
And the left has no response.
I saw this one dude on TikTok who made a video. He absolutely popped off, and all he did was pull up 3 articles of like a Muslim immigrant like committing a crime in Germany.
Yeah.
And that was it. That was the whole point of his TikTok.
That's all they do. They find the one Muslim person in France.
Yeah, they find the one brown person.
Yes.
That does anything. And it's like, oh, they are literally all like this.
Yeah, because that's how statistical inference works. Mm-hmm. You see one person do something and you can apply that to every single person within that category.
Naturally. Come on.
It's insane. Like, the far right is able to just utilize the fear that, like, I don't know, working class white people have about losing power because they're already deprived of all power in society under capitalism and our false democracy. And they're able to utilize that to get them afraid of black and brown people. And then the far right wins elections because the left, at least the liberal left, has no retort to any of those policies because they can't effectively say that, like, yes, we'll let them into the country because, like, they're afraid. They're afraid of the political narrative.
They're quite literally just pitting the poorest people in society against each other.
Yes.
Like, that's it. That's it.
Yeah. And ultimately,
fight for scraps.
Ultimately, it still hurts, like, those white working class people that have been told to be afraid of immigrants.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's just bad. Like, because they've been convinced that the only way that they can win is if a black and brown person is losing. Mm-hmm. Like, that's what it is.
Yeah.
And ultimately, that's the narrative your uncle's buying into. So,
yeah.
Just, you know what? And maybe for that point, if you didn't get all that, just play this section of the pod for him.
Yeah, just whip up, head in the office, skip to whatever timestamp this is.
Yeah, we're talking directly to you, Uncle Gary.
Yeah.
We're talking directly to you.
You fucking dipshit.
You're dumb. And you need to go get some bitches.
Oh, good one. Good one.
Even if you got a wife.
Yeah, get some bitches, please. Get some side hoes.
Yeah, that'll get you not thinking about
maybe get rid of your yee ass haircut.
Exactly.
And get some bitches on your dick.
All right. Next talking point you'll definitely hear about. Critical race theory. It's teaching children to be racist, and white kids hate themselves because of it.
Oh, yeah.
No retort. That's just true.
We've talked about this one a lot, and yeah, I completely agree. I hate myself.
Yeah. Another topic we've talked about on the pod before. When did we talk about this? Was it Terry McAuliffe episode, Soggy Cookie?
It was definitely Terry McAuliffe.
CRT is not taught in elementary schools. There's no evidence for that.
CRT is not taught pretty much anywhere. There's like maybe 3 classes at your college if you're a college student.
Find me one elementary school in the entire nation where the classroom curriculum says critical race theory.
I'll literally eat a soggy cookie if you could do that.
Like, yeah, I will put all of my money on that.
Yeah,
every single dime that I have. Like, find me a course curriculum that says critical race theory. You can't.
Facts. I will eat a soggy cookie for every course curriculum you can find me in like K through 12 that has critical race theory. I'll do it.
Yeah. Of course. The critical race theory that they're talking about is not the academic framework that talks about how legality and race interact and how our institutions have upheld racism historically. That's not what they're talking about.
Yeah.
They're talking about kids learning that slavery was bad.
They're talking about kids learning that Columbus genocided the natives.
Yes.
That's it. That's what it is.
Yeah, like, and they've said so. They've said as much publicly that, like, they think that Christopher Columbus is a hero, and they think that, like, while slavery was bad, it's gone and doesn't affect today.
Guys, we can't judge Christopher Columbus by today's standards. Why not?
Which, again, it stems from this idea that white people are losing power in society.
Yeah. When
really, the playing field is just getting more leveled.
That's it.
Yeah. Things are getting more even for everyone.
I can't remember who
and they're
said
afraid.
It. I know it's a famous historical figure, and I kind of mad that I can't remember it, but doesn't the quote go like, equality feels like oppression to the oppressors?
Something like that. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I don't remember who it is either. But yeah, like, they're afraid of losing their oversized power, their disproportionate power that they have compared to minority groups.
They'll lose their privilege.
Exactly.
They'll lose the white privilege that they claim doesn't exist.
For low income, like white people, it's the one thing that they have that gives them a slight advantage in society.
Even if they don't recognize it, they may not explicitly recognize it, but deep down they know.
Yeah.
And that's why they fear so much that there will be real, true equality.
Yeah. And they think that teaching kids about that is like terrifying to them.
Exactly.
Because it raises a generation aware of their own place in society and what, white people have done throughout history to oppress other groups. Race was literally created by white colonists to oppress other groups.
Exactly. No, race, because I think we talked about this in the first episode, dog. Race is literally a social construct. Like, I know that sounds weird, and you may be like, whoa, hold on a little bit.
Yeah.
How is it a social? You can see it. You can see the differences. Black and white are social constructs as evident by the treatment of Irish immigrants.
Yes.
They are racialized things. Irish immigrants, Chinese immigrants were racialized to be black. And their status, it's all about attaining something closer to whiteness.
Yes.
That is the history of race in America, is different racial groups putting down black people in order to get closer in proximity to whiteness.
Yeah.
To be more white.
When we had mass immigration in this country around like the 1920s, when a lot of Irish people were coming here, they were treated as like a minority group.
Chinese immigrants were literally classified as black.
Yeah, they were like forced into ghettos. And when that happened, a gang culture arose because they were impoverished.
Yeah.
And all they had was like making money through illegal means.
That's it. That's because that's all you have to do when you need to survive.
It had nothing to do with their skin color. It had to do with the systemic treatment that they were experiencing.
Exactly. It has to do with the legacy of slavery, with the legacy of Jim Crow, with the legacy of all these very bad things. Because I'm sorry, newsflash, uncle, they have after effects.
Yeah.
Things last. There are ripples historically that we can examine.
What a novel idea that things that happen impact new things that happen.
Oh my God.
Insane.
What a novel idea that history has some influence over the present.
Yeah.
I've never heard of that before, but like
crazy.
basically, like just to break it down, if you really do find yourself in a conversation about CRT with any of your family members, please just ask them what it is.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they can't
Just
define it.
ask them what they think critical race theory is and just go from there. That's what I've always done.
One of the best debate tactics is just to challenge
The Socratic
whatever
method.
they're saying. Like if they bring up some term that they're clearly using in the wrong way, just be like, all right, define it.
Yeah.
This works with like socialism too. Like,
Oh, hey, that works against me too, low-key. So sometimes I like know how to use a word, but I cannot define it for the
no,
life
but like
of me.
if your family member brings up like socialism, just be like, and I think I have this later on in the show notes, just be like, what? Okay, define it.
Oh, yeah,
Because
like
they
that.
can't.
Yeah, like that. Nah, sometimes
It's because these terms don't have any meaning. They're just used to scare people.
especially with all the rhetorical drift going on in this country, especially around words like socialism.
Yeah, anything can be labeled socialism.
Yeah, I'm thinking like words like pedantic. Like I know how to use that word in a sentence, but if you told me to define it, I couldn't. I know it's like something that like you're like elaborating. No, you're being like needlessly like picky.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Bro just exposed himself
Hey,
on
bro,
camera.
I'm not an intellectual.
Caught on 4K.
I'm not.
And related to critical race theory, to be clear, America was a slave state.
Oh yeah, we definitely got a head start because of slavery.
Yeah, and I would even be open to like accepting the argument that we still are.
Because we are. Like
Because like our prison system still enables slavery.
There
Like that's
is-
what that is in the
there
prison
is
system
no
right now.
reason to not at this very instant hold a constitutional convention and ratify the 13th Amendment to remove the sentence that excludes the slavery ban from prisons.
Yes.
That legalizes slavery. There's no reason not to hold a constitutional convention right now and get rid of that.
Yeah, and it's especially explicit when you realize that our prison system is disproportionately black and brown.
Mm-hmm.
Like you have to want like it's so obvious what that provision was made for.
Oh yeah, it's so obvious what the war on drugs was there to do and
Yeah.
what it did and how it's gone through. Read the new Jim Crow.
Yeah, when America was founded, we were committing a genocide against the
Yeah.
indigenous people, and we were a slave state.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're afraid of recognizing that truth and understanding that that has historical implications, even to this day, then you are just afraid of you acknowledging that other people have struggled more than you have.
Yeah.
Like that's all that is. Like conservatives, they literally can't embrace this story because it paints conservatives in a bad light.
Oh yeah,
That's
no.
them recognizing that their ideology has been used to oppress people for all of history.
They're so fucking scared that they have to look inward and maybe self-reflect just a little bit.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's scary to self-reflect, but like, come on, you're actually hurting people.
Just a little bit of introspection for the love of
Please,
God.
a tiny little bit.
Yeah. Critical race theory not making white kids feel bad, and the Confederate flag is racist, by the way.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Literally
Yes,
was
the
flown
Confederate
in a
flag is
war
racist.
that was about slavery.
It's not states' rights, but I'm sure y'all can handle that one on your own.
A state's right to own slaves.
Exactly. States' rights to what?
Yeah, exactly.
States' rights to what?
No, it's Confederate flag is racist. If one of your family members has one, let us know in the comments.
Yeah. Just drop a comment down below.
Sometimes I'll see a Confederate flag and it's actually stunning.
Oh, yeah.
Like it shakes me to my core.
In the north.
Yes.
Up in the north.
Right. That's the thing is like we live in Michigan and seeing Confederate flags is just insane to me.
Yeah. And
Like-
it's like not a common thing, but not like an uncommon thing. You
Right.
know?
Right. Like it's a thing that happens.
Like there are certain places you drive through and you're like, oh, wow.
And you can't even claim Southern heritage.
Oh yeah.
Like it's just slavery. Like you're just racist.
Yeah, no,
Like,
literally. Oh my God, it's horrible. And like speaking of that, like I don't know if you have it later on, but like Confederate statues.
I don't have it in here, but yeah.
If anyone gives you it's history, we need to preserve history and teach people about history. That's what we're supposed to be doing in school.
Yes.
That
and
is-
you don't want them to.
Exactly. You're the one who's saying we're not supposed to teach history. Put the statues in a museum or just fucking get rid of them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know anyone who really gives a shit about any of these statues anyway.
Yeah.
Like, what does it matter?
Especially Confederate statues.
Yeah,
Like,
nobody gives a shit about the Robert E. Lee statue that was in Virginia.
They were terrorists.
Traitors and terrorists.
Traitors to the country that you claim to love so much.
Yeah.
Like, it's not heritage.
And it's like, if you're going to a fucking Confederate statue, just like peep it to check it out because you think it's like a cool monument. I got news for you, buddy.
You're racist.
I got news for you. That's kind of weird.
That is really
That's
weird.
weird activity right there.
Like,
That's
they're-
narc activity.
Like Robert E. Lee.
yeah. You're
like, he
yeah, I
wasn't a
just
cool guy.
Really want to see the statue.
Uh-huh.
It's fucking weird. Take him down.
Yeah, and then people are always like, well, what does that mean? We're going to take down statues of like George Washington because he owned slaves? Sure.
Go for it.
I don't care.
Go for it. I've never in my life ever thought, yeah, I really want to go see the statue of George Washington.
You think that we're ever going to forget about the first president of the United States?
Yeah.
Like, we're never going to forget it. We don't need statues up of people that owned slaves to remind us that slavery happened.
Do you think that we'll ever be allowed to forget about the first president of the United States?
Exactly.
Like,
We have so much dedicated to George Washington. Like, we're never going to forget about any of these historical figures if they allow us to accurately depict them in our education system.
yeah, no, we'll never forget about the real history behind George Washington. How
Yeah.
he didn't have wooden teeth. He had slave teeth.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That was like one of the craziest things to me when I like actually started learning about
Yeah.
it. It was slave teeth.
Yeah.
Not wooden teeth like they told me in elementary school.
The argument is always that, like, if we take down these statues, we are doomed to forget what happened in history and then repeat it.
No, we're not. We're literally not.
Yeah. And because, we are repeating it. Like, you won't let us not.
There's not a single statue of Hitler, and nobody is forgetting what happened in World War II.
That is the goal of conservatives, is to repeat straight up to repeat history.
Yeah.
Like, that's what's, like, come on. Oh, my God.
Good
Absolutely
times.
ridiculous.
Good times.
Moving on to the next one, you may hear from a very bigoted uncle.
Okay.
And this is something we haven't really talked about too much on the pod. You may hear that your uncle says something along the lines of being transgender is immoral. It's unnatural.
Immoral.
It's
Wow,
dangerous.
that'd be a tough one. That's definitely a talking point.
I mean, this is something people bring up. Like, it's like
Oh,
degenerate or
1,000%.
something.
Yeah. Ben Shapiro. Ben Shapiro talking about just gay marriage in general being sexual degeneracy.
I was going to say, it's the same arguments they used against gay marriage in like 2004.
Yeah.
Or even today that they use
Oh,
against
yeah,
gay marriage.
Matt Walsh.
It's the same, like saying it's unnatural. Like, it's unnatural to fly on a plane
Yeah.
or like use a phone, use a computer.
That's a
record
fallacy,
a pod.
baby.
It's unnatural to do like none of these are things that we were born with and born able to do. It's things that we created and we realized over time.
Yeah.
Like it's ridiculous. Like how do you define normal?
How do you define natural?
Is normal something that humans is anything that humans do normal?
Yeah.
Or is like where do you draw the line and why do we draw the line at gender being something that's unnatural?
Exactly. And guys, gender is literally a social construct.
Mm-hmm.
Like that shit does not exist. You are socialized to be masculine. You are socialized to be feminine.
Yeah.
Like gender is not what's between your legs at all.
No.
Because even when you look into the biology of it, I think there's something like 5 different actual sexes that can be expressed within the human genome, considering mutations. 5 different ones.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Like that's crazy. You literally can't say there are only 2 genders.
Yeah.
That is anti-science.
Mhm.
Anti-science, anti-sociology as well.
And I already hear the arguments. If I can change
I can
my
hear
gender,
it in my head right now.
if I can change my gender, then I can claim to be black, right? I can be transracial.
No.
If you say that, you're fucking weird.
No.
You're literally weird.
No.
You're literally weird.
I can't believe there was somebody that did that. I don't think we ever covered it on the pod,
Mm-mm.
but there was this one white dude who like got surgery to look Korean.
Yeah.
Like, dog.
That's fucking.
What
You
the
can't do that.
fuck are you
And
doing?
Let me explain why you can't do that. Your sex is assigned to you at birth.
Yeah.
That is something that you are given. Your gender is something you come to realize internally over the course of your life.
Mm-hmm.
And gender isn't something that you inherit.
It's something you express.
Yes, it is something that is outwardly expressed. Race is a set of characteristics that you do inherit that is socially defined for you.
Yes.
You don't get to decide, like if you are a black man, you don't get to decide if you are perceived as a black man. Mm-hmm. That is what happens. And that social construct the social construct of race, like we mentioned, was built to uphold the power structure that white people wanted to create.
It's built to uphold white supremacy.
They had to justify slavery.
Yeah.
Like that's what race was made to do. And by the way, like obviously, this is very clear. Race and gender don't tell you anything about the characteristics of a person.
Oh, no, not
I mean, they're arbitrary markers of like what someone's identity is.
Yeah.
But they are very different markers.
And it's like, I also just don't understand why you give a shit.
Yeah, exactly. Why do you care?
All the people that do care have never interacted with a trans person their entire life and
Yeah.
probably never will.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's all someone in rural Idaho.
Yeah. And like, it's always, anytime someone brings up like, well, if you can transition your gender, can I transition my race? It's always just a way to subtract from the existence of trans people. Mm-hmm. It's always a way to minimize the struggles that they face.
Or it's like,
it's not a real argument.
Oh, can I just wake up one day and be a girl and like keep flip-flopping? Yes.
Yeah,
you can be gender fluid.
Like whatever, it's up to you being comfortable.
You can go out one day and wear a crop top and a skirt, what's traditionally socialized as being like feminine features, and then the other day you can go out wearing Carhartt double knees and a flannel.
And
like,
by the way, it's not a choice.
Yeah.
Like it's not something you choose to do. It's something that like you just figure out.
It's what you are. It's what you express.
That's
like,
more natural than forcing you into some randomly assigned gender construct.
Yeah. And having to like rigidly uphold these,
exactly.
Especially like in the case of like a masculine standard that these pundits don't even live up to. I'm sorry, but Jesse Waters is not masculine in any sense of the word.
I would argue that trying to fit yourself into a category that you don't feel comfortable with is more unnatural than you transitioning your gender.
Mm-hmm. Like, and it's more harmful to society writ large.
Yeah, and it's more harmful to an individual transgender person.
Exactly.
Like
it's just I don't understand why it's an issue, bro. Just let people do whatever they want.
Yeah. And all the arguments about transgender people like being dangerous or like predators to your children is just fucking absurd.
Oh yeah.
You're literally more likely to be assaulted in the bathroom by a member of the GOP than a trans person.
Crazy.
I don't know what the specific statistic is, but I think it's like there's been 3 Republican Party members that have been found to assault people in bathrooms and 0 transgender people.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
If you want to base your fear of others off of statistics, which is a bad thing to do, but if you really want to do
statistics do not apply to individuals. They apply to populations.
You should be afraid of being in a bathroom with someone from the GOP.
Oh yeah. And it's like even within the transgender thing, one of the most common things that I've seen about it is that you're going to confuse kids.
Yes.
Shut the fuck up.
Yes, it's so dumb.
Literally shut the fuck up. Like, 1, kids are like a little bit smarter than that. And 2, how are you going to confuse them?
Also, like, the parents of those children just be like, it doesn't matter. Like,
exactly.
Like, you should not care.
And it's like, these are the people that'll even tell you that, like, oh God, like Caitlyn Jenner, who's still like female passing. Like, she passes. I forget the term. That's like it, right?
I don't remember. I think I know what you're talking about.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, female passing anyway. She, like, fits the role. She looks like a woman. Uh-huh. Like, if you never knew Bruce Jenner, sorry for the dead name, but, like, if you never knew who she was before, then you probably wouldn't know. You think she was just... That's not confusing anybody. No. I'm sorry. It's literally not. And even if you're not... God, what the fuck is the term? Is it passing?
I don't know.
You don't have to pass to be valid. And
yes, exactly.
Just, like we've said this before, you do not have to. Even if you're not, like, you're not confusing anybody. Mm-hmm. Like oh my God, it's just so dumb.
No, but even if you are confusing somebody, who fucking cares?
Yeah, exactly.
It is not your job to make sure everyone understands who you are. Yeah,
even
your
if
existence.
Somehow it was confusing, I promise you, it's not gonna stick.
Yeah,
like you're just like, oh, okay, whatever.
Like I don't.
You should be like, oh, whatever.
Like I'm a cishet white dude. I don't fully understand. Like all of the I don't know, just all the things that transgender people have to deal with. There's no way that I could. But that's okay. Yeah. I don't have to. Like my existence, my well-being is not contingent upon me understanding who you are and who you want to identify as.
Yeah.
It does not matter.
I just got to live my life. And you can live yours literally however you want.
Like in a libertarian sense, like libertarians shouldn't care.
Oh yeah.
That's how you know people like Ben Shapiro are not libertarian. Like, he wants the state to make it so transgender people cannot exist.
He also wants the state to make it so gay people can't marry.
Right. Like, they don't care about freedom. They care about feeling superior in society.
Yeah.
They want the state to do their bidding, to do things like control women's bodies, make it so trans people can't exist, make it so gay people can't marry. That's what they want. They want the state to exist and help them, but they don't want you to have any freedom.
That's why we have theocratic fascists like Matt Walsh just there to give away the game.
Yes.
They just tell us literally exactly how it is with all of them.
And if you find your uncle on the topic of transgender people, if you hear your uncle complaining about sports and transgender people in sports,
just tell him to shut the fuck up. It does not matter.
If you complain about that, you're such a loser.
Yeah.
Like, first of all, I will stand by the argument that sports don't matter.
That's the only time that he ever gives a shit about women's sports.
Yeah, no, yes, exactly. I will stand by the argument that no sport organization or conference matters at all.
Oh yeah, no.
It has no implication. It's
real,
entertainment.
You know?
That's what it is, entertainment. And if you really care about the 8 trans people that play sports, you're such a loser.
And I mean, the argument naturally from there and extends to the fact that every male athlete's just going to transition.
No, they're not.
No, they're not. They're literally not.
It's a part of being more comfortable in your own body, in your own life. And I thought that was what liberty was.
Yeah. And I'm sorry, there are still rigid hormone tests that they have to go through.
Yeah, exactly.
To be able to play in the female leagues and everything. They have to maintain a certain level of test.
Yeah.
It's
I was going to bring up that they don't have a competitive edge. They're literally tested and they're not allowed from playing if they're found to have a competitive edge based on their hormones.
Yeah.
There's no argument to be, and even if you were actually concerned for some reason in good faith about this, that should quell all of your concerns.
Oh yeah,
because that's a standard set up to make it so nobody has a competitive edge.
Yeah, they're quite literally just not stronger.
Unless you want to start grouping football players by height and weight.
Start grouping everybody by height and weight and physical ability then, and just get rid of the gender-based system. There shouldn't be a women's league and a men's league. There should just be a 5-5 league.
Exactly. Is that what you want, conservatives?
Yeah. Is that what you want, huh?
Is Michael Phelps not allowed to swim with anyone else?
Yeah.
Is that what's going to be? That dude's a genetic freak.
Facts. Should he literally be in his own league?
He's a monster at swimming.
Oh my god.
But there's no why would we bar him from swimming? He's good at it.
It's stupid. It's so dumb. It's dumb.
You're literally a loser if you care about that.
Get some bitches if you care about that.
Next one, maybe more controversial. Okay. One that we haven't talked about too much either. Abortion is murder.
Wow.
A take that Gage believes in.
Oh, loaded statement.
A lot of conservatives will advocate for the government outlawing abortion. And if your uncle's a conservative, this is probably one of his top issues.
Simultaneously complaining about the nanny state while wanting the nanny state to overreach.
All right, that's what I'm saying is the people that advocate for small government never actually want small government.
Oh, yeah.
They want an oppressive government that works for them.
That's it. Yeah.
None of these people care about small government. And as we've said before, whenever we've talked about abortion, it is an issue of, do you want the state to control women? Mm-hmm. And if your answer is yes, you're bad.
You absolutely do not want the state to control women. I'm sorry, but that is it doesn't lead to good outcomes.
Yeah.
There's no way that can lead to anything good. I'm sorry.
The state should not be able to regulate your body in any way.
And when they do, it leads to very bad things. Look at Sweden that we talked about in the last episode. Was it Sweden or Norway?
Oh shit! What country? It was a Scandinavian country.
Or Poland. It was
Poland. That's what it was.
It was Poland. Look at Poland. We talked about it in the last episode. There were just mass protests there because their abortion ban is so restrictive that a doctor would not perform a life-saving abortion.
Yeah.
They knew that it would save this woman's life, and they would not do it, and so her and the baby died.
When you restrict abortion, people die.
When you restrict abortion, people just get unsafe abortions. People are going to do what they want.
Yes.
That's what happens.
We've known this for all of history. Uh-huh. If you restrict access to something, people are just going to find dangerous ways to get it.
That's where the coat hanger meme comes from.
Yes. That's where literally, when we banned alcohol, people just found dangerous ways to get it.
Speakeasies.
And it led to worse health outcomes.
And it led to one of the most prolific gangsters in history.
Yeah. Literally. And by the way, the argument that the state should not be involved with regulating women's bodies holds true even if we accept the idea that a fetus is a person.
Yeah.
That argument still stands.
Which is an inherently philosophical debate.
Yeah. I don't know where to define personhood.
There is no line. There is no hard line to define it. And that's the problem with laws is you need a hard line.
Yeah.
Because laws have to be very explicit.
Yeah.
But there's nothing. It's a philosophical debate. What is life? Why do we grant personhood to a fetus that is 2 weeks old, but we don't grant any consideration to more complex organisms like sea life, like fish, like bugs? We step on them every single day and don't think of it.
We don't even grant that consideration to living human beings.
Yeah, we do not grant that consideration to minorities.
Conservatives don't care about if the fetus is actually a person, because they don't care about the kid when it comes out.
Yeah.
Like the kid can come out and have no access to healthcare, no access to a stable food source, no access to housing, and they wouldn't care as long as it's out.
They could literally have no access to parents and be shuffled through a foster system that doesn't give a shit about them and come out a statistic.
Yes.
Because that's how the system is designed.
Like,
maybe they want it to be that way because that feeds their racism.
Yes.
They feeds that racism. The more kids that they can push into just disparate situations, the more kids will end up committing crime, and the more crime that they can talk about to rile up their white suburban base.
Yeah.
To get them scared.
Yes.
That's it. Oh,
it's all about fear.
Uh-huh.
It's all about them convincing you that somehow you're going to die.
Yeah.
Like that's all politics
is. It's just to fear monger and keep you going and uphold these structures that they benefit.
And again, personhood is, like Gage said, it's a philosophical debate. I don't know where to define personhood. To me, it makes most sense when the baby's out of the body. That's the cutoff.
Facts. Or
it's
like
quick and dirty.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, and I'm sympathetic to like different personhood arguments because it's a complex situation that we as humans have not figured out. But there's a lot of nuances to it, and I don't think it needs to. But that's the thing; it doesn't need to play a role in how we define when abortions are okay.
Yeah. We quite literally do not know how sentience works. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm sorry.
Yeah, we don't understand.
We don't understand consciousness.
How about you explain to me how consciousness works?
Yeah, please explain to me why I can hear my voice in my head and see pictures in my head.
How do we become self-aware?
I'm asking, like, please, somebody explain that to me. I don't get it.
Like, and here's how you know that this conservative talking point's even more dishonest, because if they actually wanted to lower abortion rates, there's things that they could do. Mm-hmm. They could make contraceptives free.
Yes.
That would make it so there's no more accidental pregnancies, or a lot less.
Give out free condoms, free birth control.
You could teach kids more robustly about sexuality in general.
Move completely away from abstinence-only sex ed. It just does not work.
It's bad.
High schoolers fuck like rabbits.
Studies have been done to show that the abstinence-based sex education system is a net negative.
It's just horrible. And like, if your uncle's saying like, well, kids shouldn't be taught about that, he's just wrong.
Yes.
You're just wrong. Why shouldn't they be taught about that? Oh, they're too young.
Yeah.
They're too young to be learning about all these things. No, you're not. You're not. Because abstinence-only sex education also leads to higher rates of child sexual abuse.
Yeah.
Because kids don't know how to identify what is wrong. Mm-hmm. Because they've never been exposed to it.
Yeah.
You can do these things appropriately. Sex ed is nowhere near inappropriate.
Focus the sex education system on consent
Yeah.
and safe activity.
Yeah.
That's what you need to do.
Like actual consent.
Yes.
Like teaching people what that means. Teach
Yeah.
people about cooperation
Exactly.
too, instead of just consent.
Like that would drastically lower abortion rates because teenage pregnancies would just go down. People would understand their own bodies.
That is truly the only way to actually protect the kids from child predators.
Yeah.
Is if they can identify when they're being preyed upon.
Yeah, that along with free contraceptives will go a really long way. Mm-hmm. But also funding Planned Parenthood.
Yeah.
Because we've talked about this a bunch, but like they fund they Planned Parenthood for you.
Yeah.
Like they figure out more than just abortion, and oftentimes, from what I can understand, abortion's like the last option they will recommend.
They do a lot more things.
Yes.
Many, many more things.
And again, studies have been done to show that the better funded Planned Parenthood is in an area, the less abortions there are.
Yeah.
Because they can help you.
Yes, because they tell you, like, all right, this is how we can do it. This is how we can budget for a kid so that you aren't forced to pop a kid into horrible circumstances.
Yeah. And the last thing that you could do if you really wanted to lower abortion rates, lift people out of poverty. Mm-hmm. Because the more financially safe somebody is, the more financially stable a mother is, the more likely she is to be able to support that child and go to term.
Exactly.
You can't be expected to give birth to a child if you already cannot provide for yourself. Mm-hmm. And this means that we have to fund social programs, put more money in people's pockets, raise the wage for average working class people in this country. But we can't do any of that because the Republican Party doesn't want to.
Exactly. They do not want to fund foster care. They do not want to fund adoption clinics. They say their solution to these things is just, give the baby up for adoption. One, there are more complicated things that play into that, like postpartum depression.
Yeah.
Giving away something that like you grew inside of you for 9 months. But also just more explicitly, there's a lot of babies that don't get adopted.
Yeah.
There's a lot of babies that don't get adopted and like harshly, like to put it harshly, are a burden on the system. Mm-hmm. It's bad. It's a bad situation everywhere around.
I mean, I don't know the exact stance of the Republican Party on this, but I guarantee they don't want to like improve the foster system in any way or the adoption system. I'm sure
Democrats don't even try to improve. Well, Democrats don't really try to improve anything, but like
they pretend.
They don't even pretend to try to campaign on improving the foster system.
Yeah. All in all, if your uncle brings up abortion, the most important thing is that the Republican Party does not care about abortion.
Not at all.
They care about control, and they care about galvanizing the base on an issue that they know their voters do care about, but then they never do anything about it. Republicans have been in power a lot more often than Democrats have, at least in recent history. Name a time when they've done something about abortion.
A large majority of the Republican voter base are one-issue voters on gun rights and abortion.
Yes.
And that's it.
I mean, that's like all of like the Bible Belt.
Yeah, literally.
That's literally like, I mean, it's all of middle America. All those Republican states that you see on electoral maps every single 4 years is all they care about is abortion and gun rights. Because that's the only media they have access to, by the way.
It's the only thing
that's all they're exposed to.
I fucking hate it, dude.
Yeah, it's bad. But I think that sums it up just about on abortion. This argument pisses me off more than anything else, I think. Or at least it's one of the issues that pisses me off the most because they don't actually, it's so dishonest.
It's one of the issues that I'd be getting in fights about the most, that I seek out smoke for the most.
Yeah. Next talking point. The Democrats are the socialist party and their economic agenda is socialist.
Oh, yeah.
What would you say to that?
What would I say to that?
Yeah, what's your retort?
Dog, where do you even begin? The
Define
Democrats are
socialism.
Socialist. Define socialism. What socialist policies are they passing? Like literally what? What is it?
Yeah.
Oh, they're trying to take from the rich. Yeah. I want to.
Yeah.
But I can guarantee you that the Democrats do not want to take for the rich. Let's look at the tax plan. Let's look at what's going through in budget reconciliation. A 3% increase in their taxes. That's it. That's it. The crumbs. Taking away a couple $1,000s from them a year when they're making $50 million.
Would they call would they call the tax rates prior to Ronald Reagan socialist? Would America have been socialist back then?
Yeah.
I thought we were trying to make America great again. Like I thought it was great previously.
Literally.
Yeah. But if your uncle, says, well, socialism bad, like that's his definition for socialism. If you don't know, after listening to the pod for 20 episodes now, socialism, it's an economic system that is based on the means of production, meaning, tools, factories, thing that you use to produce, being owned by the workers that are producing rather than a boss or a capitalist. Because as it works right now, say you work in an Amazon facility, all of the tools that you use to make things are owned by the capitalist, and all the revenue that you make goes to the capitalist, and you are in turn paid a wage.
Yeah.
You sell your time, your labor, for a wage. That's what capitalism is as an economic system. Socialism advocates to turn that on its head and have workers control everything. That doesn't mean that there's no one in the boss's position. It just means that they don't have more power than anybody else.
Yeah.
That they don't take all the profit away, that the profit gets shared among everybody.
Companies can be run democratically instead of authoritarian.
Yes. And there's a variety. There's a vast number of different forms socialism can take that people advocate for and argue about all the time on the left.
Yeah.
But overall, socialism, it seeks to eliminate class boundaries.
It seeks to bring power back to the workers.
Yeah, it wants to rebalance the power dynamic that exists because right now there's an enormous wealth gap and ultimately there is no choice under capitalism. You are coerced into the workplace because you have to choose from one of, I don't know, however many workplaces you have in your area, and they're all going to exploit you all the same.
Oh, yeah, literally.
There may be differentials in benefits and pay, but ultimately you don't have that much choice.
Yeah.
And how can you consent to that social contract when they have all the power on their side?
How can you in good faith say that there is a labor market?
Yeah.
There's a free trade. Like you are free to sell your labor whenever you want when the only alternative is to just eat shit and die.
Yes.
How can you say that there is? But I already know what your uncle's going to say. They're going to say nephew. But Venezuela.
But Venezuela, China, Russia.
Venezuela, China, Russia.
Yeah.
What about those? What do you have to say about the Soviet Union?
And here's what I would say.
Okay.
Venezuela, or actually, none of those countries have actually been socialist. They've used the word socialism.
True.
But all of them have still operated fundamentally under a capitalist framework. They've attempted to socialize programs.
It's like
they've failed at times and they've been authoritarian at times.
Yeah.
But just saying like, well, look at Venezuela. That's the representative of all of socialism. It robs everything of its context, especially when you find out that the United States has like 200 sanctions on Venezuela. Like, how are you as a Latin American country supposed to survive when the largest country on earth has 200 economic sanctions on you that primarily affect regular people in the country.
Exactly.
Like, it cuts off food supplies.
This is literally what our goal was. I think in like 2019, we were literally setting up blockades to stop food from getting into the country.
Why do you think these quote unquote socialist countries struggle so much? Like, it's because places like the United States have dedicated billions and billions, trillions of dollars to making sure that they can't survive.
Yeah. It's like, oh, uncle, would you say that France is socialist?
Right.
Would you say that France is socialist?
No.
No? Okay, that's crazy considering that more of France's economy is centrally planned than Venezuela's.
Yeah.
Right? Isn't that wild?
Would you call Norway a socialist country?
Oh no, the Scandinavian countries, they've came out and said that they're state capitalists. Okay, why can't we do that then?
Yeah, because that's socialism.
Why can't we? Yeah, like it's just an endless loop. It's circular reasoning. You cannot get out of it.
Yeah, and I mean, it just goes in line with everything we've said. Socialism fundamentally would reorganize the economy so that everyone's needs are met and everyone can do jobs that they actually want to do.
To each according to their ability, to each according to their need.
Exactly.
Who wouldn't want a system like that?
Exactly. And the argument's always like, well, if everyone has their needs provided for, then they're not going to want to work.
Oh my
First
God.
of all, that acknowledges that under capitalism, the only reason people have to work is so that they don't die. Mm-hmm. That is admitting that capitalism is inherently coercive.
Yeah.
And also, I would argue that the only time people can truly achieve is if they have their needs met. Mm-hmm. How are you supposed to achieve? How are you supposed to make a difference in society, exert your power over society, make a big splash in your community if you're starving?
How are you supposed to create the next big thing when you don't have the financial ability to actually go out and take a risk?
Exactly.
Like how are you going to be the next Amazon without the $300,000 that Jeff Bezos got from his parents?
Yeah.
And the other millionaire backers that he got because he knew them.
Yeah. And like there's more theoretical frameworks that we could talk about under socialism, especially when it has to deal with like what happens to disparities in race, or like how could you organize this? What organization would oversee it that doesn't become similar to a state? Like there's a bunch of things we could talk about. But I mean, they're largely unimportant because your uncle doesn't know any of that. And also, the most important point is that capitalism, it's coercive. It's built to be exploitative. It's built to make all of the wealth go to the top.
Yeah.
And like he might bring up like, oh, that's if he knows his talking points.
Yes.
He might bring up, oh, that's crony capitalism. That's not what I want. It's the same.
Oh, if he's a shithead libertarian, he might say that's crony capitalism. That's corporatism.
That's what capitalism is.
Yeah.
Capitalism is corporatism.
It devolves into corporatism. It has to. It is a system of infinite growth.
Yeah. And socialism has, throughout history, been effectively demonized by the United States. Because socialism, like we've said, threatens capitalism. That's what it's built to do. It's a critique of capitalism. It was born from the frustrations of capitalism. And it threatens profits from corporations, so the United States has to rely on propaganda against it.
And any socialist state that has ever tried to emerge has been at the behest of Western capital, and constantly had to fight, and often does devolve into authoritarianism, which I absolutely condemn. Like I don't fuck with.
Yeah, like the USSR was awful.
Yeah.
Like horrible human rights abuses. Like it was bad.
They did a lot of bad shit, but there was also the Great Leap Forward.
Yes.
They industrialized quicker than anyone else. They went from fucking farmers to the moon. Or
right.
to space. They beat us to space.
What was it? Pre-World War II, they were an agrarian society.
Yeah.
And they beat us to space.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot you can criticize about the USSR, and you will often hear the talking point that like, well, all the socialist countries have killed like, I don't know, 14 trillion billion zillion people.
14 Google people.
But look at how many people are suffering under capitalism, and tell me that something isn't fundamentally wrong. And also if the United States is so great, why can't we do better than they did?
Yeah.
Like, no one can answer that.
Where's our Great Leap Forward?
Why can't the United States take the policies that may have worked or that may have had some semblance of success and implement them here and expand upon them if we are so great?
Because it hurts capital.
Yes.
It hurts the capital owners that literally run this country.
Yeah. And like I said, socialism has been demonized.
Yeah.
People are afraid of it. Right? I mean, it's just a boogeyman. Like, people talk about the Red Scare and the second Red Scare that happened in like the 50s and then later in like the 80s. But the Red Scare is still happening.
Yeah.
And it works on a lot of people.
You can't look at like the history. If you're criticizing the USSR's authoritarian like human rights abuses, you can't do that in the absence of the contexts that made them a hyper-militarized nation.
Yeah.
There are contexts there. There's global pressure there.
Yeah,
that's how this shit works.
As soon as the USSR was born, they were immediately in a war.
Yeah,
like they were in war for all of their existence, whether it be the Cold War or like World War II. Like they were in war for all of their existence until they collapsed.
Yeah, there are explanations, not excuses, but there are explanations for these things.
Exactly.
Certainly.
Yeah, there's reasons why these societies haven't been able to fully develop as socialist theory would have wanted them to.
The extent to which socialism is the reason for all these authoritarian policies is the extent to which Western capital has deemed them harmful to their own interests.
No socialist country has popped up throughout history and has been left alone by the global north.
We still have a blockade on Cuba for absolutely no reason.
Yeah. Cuba's had a blockade for 60 years? Like there has been no socialist project that has popped up that has not been immediately oppressed by the United States.
It's so fucking stupid, dude.
It's so dumb. And you'll hear your uncle might be like, well, Bernie Sanders is a socialist and wants Medicare for all. And it's like, yeah, Bernie Sanders' plan isn't even socialist.
Or, oh my God, yeah, I didn't even think about that. Medicare for all.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about how your uncle feels about Medicare for all.
Yeah.
Your uncle's probably thinking, oh, what about wait times?
What about wait times now, my guy?
What about wait times now? Literally, studies have been done that show wait times here in Canada are very comparable. Very comparable. And I'm sorry, but you're not waiting for an emergency surgery.
No.
You know what's happening here when you need an emergency surgery?
You go into debt and die.
A $5,000 ambulance bill, and then $100,000 heart surgery that you need.
Yeah.
That you're just shit on. You're literally just done for. I almost got hit with $100,000 bill because I needed a genetic test.
How do you pay for that?
I literally wouldn't have been able to pay for it. I'd have been bankrupt at 20 years old. What the fuck?
I think it's something like all other OECD nations have some form of universal coverage. Their systems vary. Some of them still have a private industry attached to the country, but every single one of them has a form of universal coverage. But we don't.
It's stupid. There's no fucking market there. Why is it okay that the countries produce drugs here based off 90% of all new drug developments are based off of NIH funding, government funding, and they get to do something like the chemistry of it all. They will get to do something like add a salt group, which would not affect the pharmacology of the drug, and create a new patent, and now it's theirs, and they can upcharge it however they want. That's what happens with insulin every 7 years. Patents on drugs run out every 7 years. So every 7 years, insulin is reformulated so that chemically there's a different structure. It's basically turned into a fucking isomer of what it once was.
Yeah.
Like an analog of it that has the same function but a slightly different structure. There's no functional difference. It's the same insulin.
Yeah.
But they get to keep renewing their patents so that they can charge people exuberant prices, literally murder people.
What is the price for insulin here? In Canada, it's I don't know, what is it, 20 times cheaper in Canada than it is here?
Dirt cheap over in Canada.
And it's the same stuff?
And over here, I know people who ration their insulin. I know a type 1 diabetic that has 6 shots a day she needs to stay alive, and she's had to ration her insulin.
In the UK, they have the NIH, which literally, they own all of the hospitals. They're all government run. Every single thing is controlled by their universal healthcare program. There is no privatized health insurance in the UK. Yeah. And you walk into a clinic, you pay nothing. You go to the hospital, you pay nothing. You get the help you need and you leave. That's a net positive for the system.
That's crazy.
And that
couldn't imagine that here.
That drastically reduces the amount that you have to pay monthly for premiums, deductions, whatever, copays, whatever it may be. And that's more money ultimately in your pocket. Yes, you're paying more in taxes, marginally.
Yeah, and it's that's the rebut. That's the rebut is taxes.
Yeah.
Okay, who gives a shit if your taxes are increasing? You're paying that money right now.
Right.
If that bill goes away and your taxes increase, more money is coming into your account if you allow us to raise taxes on the rich.
Yeah.
If you allow us to tax corporations poorly. If you allow a tax on unrealized gains in corporate assets, in assets of billionaires, because they're spending those unrealized gains.
Yeah. It's so funny that the argument against Medicare for all is always taxes. When it's you don't care that your taxes go to the military that just go and kill people every year.
You don't care that I think the budget is about to be renewed, the defense
Soon.
budget for $750 billion, 718 billion with a big one with a B.
Yeah.
17 billion, $718 billion.
Spend more than the next 7 countries combined, or 8 countries combined, something like that.
And let me ask you, what is the justification for the defense budget now that we're pulled out of Afghanistan?
Couldn't tell you.
Literally, you could not tell me because there isn't one. There's no reason that it has to be that much.
Yeah. God. But instead of that, instead of a Medicare for all system, instead of having health care, I'd rather the military be ridiculously strong.
I'd rather them continue to develop the F-35, which for each plane will cost $2 trillion over its lifetime to maintain, which is a massively over budget project.
I'd rather us pay, what is it, like 4 times more into our military than China, even though China has a 1/7 of the world's population.
Yeah.
In their country alone.
Love it.
Makes so much more
Even though
sense.
they have a 1,000,000-man army.
Yeah.
We still, oh my God.
Yeah.
And we just, I fucking hate it. It's ridiculous. I can't get health care because of this.
Yeah. And by the way, like, there is like no actual socialist politician that's elected. Like Bernie's a democratic socialist.
Yeah.
But even he is like constricted in his ability to actually do stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like
he's one individual senator.
Right, exactly. Like Joe Biden's not a socialist. He said he's a capitalist before in speeches. He said I am a capitalist.
They're capitalists.
Yes, all of them are. Like it's dumb.
I'm sure any of you that listen to this podcast can handle the way to retort Joe Biden is a socialist. Like, come on.
Yeah. So if your uncle brings up socialism, you know what to say.
Exactly. You know how to get them.
Our last one for debunking conservatives is Donald Trump, greatest president ever.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So if I told you Donald Trump's the greatest president ever, you'd agree, right?
I'd definitely agree.
Immediately
I would
agree.
have to.
All right, moving on. Yeah. I mean, you can't point to anything Donald Trump accomplished and be like, that is categorically a good thing, except maybe the Afghanistan withdrawal that Biden executed.
And it still wasn't even like a good thing, you know? It was just kind of like something you needed to do.
Yeah, something that should have been done a long time ago.
Nothing this dude did was virtuous.
No. Like the only thing that he accomplished that like the Republican Party can actually praise him for, other than, you know, like ginning up the base and getting everyone to be more racist, is tax cuts and appointing like a massive amount of judges.
Speaking of the Trump tax cuts.
An offensive amount of judges.
Literally the most in history ever.
Really?
For one president. I'm pretty sure he appointed more people to the judiciary.
Oh, yes, that is true.
Crazy, right? But like Trump tax cuts, I'm sure that will be a topic. The Trump tax cuts for the middle class were set to sunset, I believe, in 2023.
Yeah.
But you know whose tax cuts weren't going away? Corporations and the wealthy.
How did I know?
All of their tax cuts were going to stay, while your taxes were going to raise by design.
Mm-hmm.
Like, coincidentally, as soon as Trump left office, they were supposed to go away.
Yeah.
Assuming he got a second term.
Uh-huh.
What's the deal?
That's crazy, isn't it?
What's the deal with that?
That's crazy.
Right?
Yeah. No, like the tax cuts are the only thing that they can actually say that we accomplished, and even then it's categorically bad.
And even then it wasn't an accomplishment because it just decreased funding and created more austerity.
Yeah. Trump did nothing good. Like he made our immigration system that was already bad even worse.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, he was just playing off Obama in that context.
Yeah, fumbled the COVID recovery.
Yeah, completely fumbled the COVID recovery in every possible way.
Yeah, talk about a K-shaped recovery.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely nothing. He did nothing at all to provide relief for people in poverty at all. And in fact, he opposed it.
Oh, yeah.
Vehemently racist.
Oh, 1,000%.
All the time. Like,
vehemently misogynistic. Literally rapey.
Yeah, literally said countries in Africa were shithole countries. He said that he wanted more immigrants from like the Scandinavian countries. I wonder why. Said he didn't trust black people to handle his money. He instituted a Muslim ban.
Bro had like 20 cases. Mm-hmm. Like 20 cases against him when he was like running for president.
Yeah, but Joe Biden's a pedophile.
Yeah, no, but oh my God.
I mean, probably. You know?
Shit.
Like that doesn't exclude Trump from being one.
Yeah.
Like, Jesus Christ. Yeah. Like, there's no Trump accomplishment that you can find me that you could actually argue is a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
or that wasn't him, like, taking credit for something that happened under him.
Right, yeah, like the, by the way, tried to steal an election. Like, that's one of the big ones. But, like, yeah, he took credit for what was already happening with the economic recovery under Obama. Mm-hmm. Unemployment was already going down. Inflation was already going down. He rode those trends. You can look at the graphs.
Yeah.
During Obama's presidency, it was already going down. Trump came into the presidency, it continued to go down. Like, okay, he should get rewarded for not fucking it up until COVID came along.
Thanks. And, like, we ain't even talk about mail-in ballots.
Yeah.
We ain't even talk about how every voter recount has either found that, oh, shit, we undercounted Joe Biden's votes or the same results.
Uh-huh.
Or they found that Republicans have committed voter fraud.
Yes.
They found that individual Republicans were the ones that did all that.
Isn't that crazy?
They're just wasting taxpayer dollars.
And that's the thing with these voter fraud conspiracy theories is that every time evidence is found that they are wrong, they use it to reinforce their narrative that something's being hidden.
Uh-huh.
Like, it's not falsifiable.
Yeah.
So you can't use it as like an actual theory or something that's actually happening. Because when proven wrong in the face of contradictory evidence, you use that as more evidence that you are correct.
Yeah.
Like, in what world is that normal?
You just get sent further down the rabbit hole, and this is how things like Q happen.
Yeah. Yeah, gotta love Donald Trump for starting QAnon.
Oh my God, dude! But he doesn't know what it is. He's not aware.
Yeah.
The president
Sorry,
of the United
Savannah Guthrie.
States.
I can't just believe you.
The president of the United States is not aware of his literal like fan cult.
Yeah. Dog. If I'm aware of it, the president of the United States is aware of it.
He's been briefed on it multiple times. Like, there's no way that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
He has to. It is a national security threat.
Right, straight up. Yeah. No, he definitely knew about it. Anyway, moving on. I think I wanted to take a little bit of time to debunk some liberal talking points.
Okay.
Not in the context of like, not with conservative retorts, of course.
Naturally.
But in case you have any liberal family members that are being especially egregious this holiday season, overpraising Joe Biden, overpraising just modern Democrats in general, like how the country's being run right now.
I love that Joe Manchin is taking a stand.
Or even if better yet, if you see that there's like a mini battle happening between like your liberal uncle and your conservative aunt, you can jump in and beat them both.
Oh yes,
like
just destroy them in the marketplace.
You can literally hit them with a third party and just beat them both. So the first one that we've talked about before, the quote is, "Progressives are the reason that moderates keep losing elections."
Favorite quote out of the 2020 election cycle.
True. We've talked about this before, but quite literally, that's false.
Oh yeah,
categorically false. Moderates keep losing because people don't like them.
Yeah, people absolutely despise liberal hypocrisy.
Mm-hmm.
And because there's no presentable alternative within the mainstream media, liberals themselves push more people to conservatism.
Yeah.
Funny how that works.
Oh, yeah, like, because liberals are insanely hypocritical.
And they fucking suck. They're not fun people to be around either.
People don't like it when you appear elitist.
Exactly.
Like, that makes them feel bad.
People don't like when you constantly condescend them.
Yeah. It's ridiculous. Like, the reason that these moderates keep losing is because, like we've said before, those moderates in the Democratic Party can't embrace a populist platform. They can't embrace popular policies. Mm-hmm. Because, again, like we've said, doing so emboldens people like Bernie Sanders.
It gets rid of their corporate donors.
And they can't affirm Bernie Sanders, and they can't get rid of their corporate donors, or else the Democratic Party, as it exists right now, falls apart.
Like, I don't know a single person who likes Joe Manchin.
Yeah.
I don't know a single person who just likes any moderate Democrat platform. The only thing that people like about the Democrats is anything that might be progressive, which they don't deliver on, which then gives them disdain towards the Democratic Party and the political system as a whole. And so they just don't vote. They just dissociate and just don't vote.
And I understand why people feel so disillusioned with the system. And they don't want to vote for damage control because, like, what have Democrats done to earn their vote?
What has Joe Biden done to justify my vote?
Yeah. Like, of course, we're going to vote for Joe Biden.
All he has done
if he's running against Trump.
All he has done is not be Trump. And he hasn't even done a good job at not being Trump.
Sometimes he's still doing what Trump did.
The same things, the exact same things.
Yeah. I wanted to bring up some quotes from the 2020 election that we actually haven't talked about before.
Oh, wow. Some new
First
content.
one from Abigail Spanberger.
Okay.
After the 2020 election, she said, "We need to not ever use the word socialist or socialism ever again. We lost a lot of good members because of that. If we are classifying Tuesday as a success, we're going to get effing torn apart in 2022.
Crazy how you're already getting torn apart in 2021.
It's so funny that she just... it's so annoying that she just blames it on socialism. As if people that lost in 2022, or people that lost in 2020, or even Terry McAuliffe when he lost in 2021, lost because they're socialist.
As if, that's one thing. And as if any of those people had an ounce of charisma.
Yeah.
It's non-existent. It's non-existent.
Yeah. And after that, this quote was like right after the elections, but after that, Rashida Tlaib from Michigan basically said, like, it sounds like you don't care about black people.
Facts. No, literally.
That's so funny. What a good retort. That's great. If Spanberger's point was an encouragement to, like, draw individual contrast between yourself and the left wing of the party, if like you don't believe in defund the police, you don't believe in Medicare for all, if that's your point, then fine.
Sure.
Like, you can campaign on that. You can campaign on issues that you think will help you win in your area, because it matters a lot where you're located in the country. But her argument is just that, like, we can't advocate for these policies because it's scary to people.
Yeah,
like you need to appeal, you need to excite people. You're not going to win over the conservatives. You can't.
Dog, I'm sorry, but like polarizing content kind of works. That's kind of been a marketing strategy recently.
And a lot of the time, it's not even polarizing. People that aren't in tune with politics, that aren't like diehard either way, think a $15 minimum wage is a good thing.
In Florida, people think a $15 minimum wage is a good thing. In Florida.
They like the idea of universal coverage for healthcare.
Crazy. In Massachusetts.
Yes, in Massachusetts, when Mitt Romney was governor in 2006, they implemented a universal healthcare system.
Romney Care. Mitt Romney.
Yeah.
2012 presidential candidate Mitt Romney.
98% of all Massachusetts residents were covered.
Mormon Romney. Universal health care.
Yeah.
Wild.
Yes.
And it was free for like, what did you say? It's like if you made 150 to 300% above like the poverty line, you just got healthcare for free. You just got it. It was yours.
Yeah, the cutoff was 300%. If you made up to 300% of the poverty line, you got free healthcare.
Which is, I'd imagine,
or subsidized.
I'd imagine it's something like federal poverty line is like, I want to say 12,000 for like a family of like two.
I'm not sure what it is, but I know that the way they calculate it is abysmal.
I think that lands the way that like 30K a year.
The formula they use to calculate it is, I think it's something like
it's based on food.
It's based on food, but it's a formula that was made in 1965 that we still use. It's I think 3 times the amount that food cost in 1965,
which in 1965
per month or something, or per year,
food was what the expensive like thing was.
Yeah.
And now housing is the crazy expensive thing, and food is relatively cheaper.
There's other measures out there for poverty that like weigh all of the different needs that people have, and then like subtract the tax the like tax relief that you get if you're a working class person. But of course, we don't use that.
Yeah, we
in
will
our
never use those because then it makes us, look like how we are.
If we use those, it would literally say that like half the nation is poor.
Yeah. Oh like, my God.
Yeah.
It would literally say half the nation is poor, and it would go back on the World Bank's whole mission to say that global capitalism has uplifted people from poverty.
Yeah.
When, mind you, that the global poverty line is like, what is it, less than $1.28 a day?
Yeah.
So
what are you gonna buy with $1.28 a day?
That's crazy.
Not buying anything.
That's actually crazy.
Another quote here, it came right after the 2020 elections about progressives in general, was Kurt Schrader. He's a Democrat from Oregon. He said, this is insane. He said, Democrats' messaging is terrible. It doesn't resonate. Okay, I agree so far.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
He said, when voters see that the far left gets all the news media attention, they get scared. They're very afraid that this will become a super nanny state, and their ability to do things on their own is going to be taken away.
Dog, what media attention? I'm sorry, like what media attention? Is it CNN having AOC on to like just like talk to her a little bit?
No, like the media attention the far left gets is being demonized by CNN.
Yeah, it's slamming them.
Yes.
It's absolutely slamming people like India Walton.
Yeah.
Who just ran for mayor above you. It's slamming Bernie Sanders in the 2020 primaries.
It's being starkly on the side of the Democratic Party.
It's literally rigging the DNC against Bernie Sanders in the 2020 election.
And the thing about like it's going to turn us into a super nanny state. That's just a libertarian talking point.
Oh, yeah, no, and they suck, so.
That's straight up just a Republican. Like, that's things that Republicans says. How can you advocate for any policy after saying that?
Yeah.
You can't.
Oh, yeah.
Saying that it's a big... Why... The entire idea of a nanny state, like the U.S. becoming a nanny state with more welfare programs, is fucking dumb anyway. But how are you going to say that?
That's not how that shit works.
How are you going to say that as a Democrat?
I don't want a nanny state. I want a mommy state.
Facts.
Hell yeah.
Give me the mommy state.
Hell yeah, but let me walk back on something I just said.
Okay.
I realized that I was wrong. I didn't get the facts right. The global poverty line isn't $1.28 a day. It's $1.90 a day.
Oh,
I know.
That makes the world a difference. Gage.
Big mistake.
You could buy something off the dollar menu at McDonald's and have some room.
Yeah,
and then be blamed for being obese.
Facts. You could have like a couple cents left over after you bought like a burger off the dollar menu. But like, I just want to point out that this is literally the World Bank, like talking about poverty. No one in America is impoverished by that metric.
No.
Not a single person, not a single soul.
Yeah, you're telling me that there's nobody that's food insecure, doesn't have access to healthcare, can't get a good education.
You're telling me we don't have homeless people? You're telling me that the homeless people who make like $1, like $2 in donations, that makes them above poverty?
Yeah, they're not in poverty. That's fucking ridiculous.
I'm sorry, but like, what about cost of living in different areas? Yeah. Like the $1.90.
Institutions like the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund, the IMF, they're literally set up to convince people that nothing is wrong, so that we do nothing to change how the economy or even the global economy is currently constructed.
And they literally just rig the stats.
Yes,
like this. Like as you can see, $1.90 a day. Oh my God. All you got to do is make more than $700 a year.
Yeah,
and you're not in poverty.
Yeah,
suck my dick.
Last talking point. You may hear from your liberal family members that you may want to retort. Obama, greatest president of all time. Kind of mirrors the one that we talked about, Trump being the greatest president. Both statements are wrong, by the way.
Deporter-in-chief.
Yeah.
Greatest president of all time.
I really wish he was the greatest president.
Yeah.
I do.
Keep in mind, I don't really have an opinion on who the greatest president is. I think they all fucking suck.
Yeah.
But it's not Obama.
Yeah. Yeah. Obama orchestrated like massive amount of drone strikes.
Oh, yeah.
Bad on foreign policy.
Oh, yeah. Killed a lot of innocent people.
The ACA kind of sucked.
Dog shit.
Wasn't entirely his fault.
Yeah.
Kind of just how the Democratic and Republican parties are.
Kind of just how the cookie crumbled.
But Romney care.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sorry, dog. If Mitt Romney can do Romney care in Massachusetts, you could have done something. Like, it could have happened.
Yeah.
I know Mitch McConnell wasn't playing ball, but like...
And I think a lot of people were pushed away from the Democratic Party, especially in like 2008, 2009, when he bailed out the banks, but not people.
Mm-hmm.
Obama, he made an effort to bail out the banks, which was something that was, I guess, necessary for the economy, even though they literally caused the problem.
I mean, like, to be fair, you literally have to bail out the banks or the global economy collapses, but there were no caveats to that.
Yeah.
It was just a free bailout, just like the GM. Didn't he also bail out GM?
I can't remember. Maybe.
Was it? I think that was also under Obama, was the GM bailout.
Maybe.
Which is also fucking stupid because, no bailouts for all the workers that got furloughed and laid off.
Yeah.
What the fuck is up with that?
Yeah.
All that happened in 2008 is I think you got $1,000 stimmies.
Yeah. Oh, is that true? Did people get stimulus?
Yeah, there's a stimulus under like Obama for the
but like I mean, look at the stimulus checks we got in COVID. We got a lot more than 1,000.
We got more under Trump.
COVID.
Under Trump. Trump gave us more money than Obama did.
But where did those stimulus checks go? Immediately to food,
right,
transportation, rent. Exactly.
And it's like considering the housing crisis, where more people lost their homes.
Yeah.
What is $1,000 going to do?
Yeah. Where's the bailout for regular people?
Yeah.
This is why neoliberalism pushes people away from the Democratic Party.
Oh, yeah.
They fully embrace the conditions that are making people suffer. And then people feel isolated, and then their fears are preyed upon by the Republican Party, and then suddenly they're conservatives advocating for policies that won't actually help them, but that make them feel a little bit safer at night.
But they think it does because conservatives at least offer them a safe space to be racist.
Yeah.
Yeah. The conservatives don't make them think about maybe like how their actions can affect other people, how these policies affect other people.
Yeah.
And they offer a safe space.
Even though
they hate safe spaces.
People are so robbed of power in society because they have no power to actually influence their community, the conditions that they're exposed to, anything like that, that they will latch on to any amount of power they feel that they can get, especially when it comes to like the Republican Party, making them feel like, as a white person, the little bit of power that I do have is being threatened by immigrants coming into the country. Like, that's all it is. And Obama wasn't the worst president. Like, he was better than Donald Trump.
Better than Donald Trump. Better than Bush.
Yeah. But still a war criminal.
Bars.
Still a war criminal.
Definitely not high bars.
I mean, he did a few good things. Like, there was the Iranian nuclear deal, the JCPOA. That was all right.
Cool.
But, like, all in all, dude kind of sucked.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it. Like, he exists under a capitalist system. Like, that's just how it's going to go.
Presidents are mid, but he was he was just a Democrat.
Yeah.
And that's kind of just how you sum him up.
Like, and I really hope that he is not the peak of the Democratic Party, Like, 'cause during the 2020 elections, he was worshipped in the primary as a god.
It was his endorsement that slingshotted Joe Biden to the top.
Yeah.
He was
hailed as literally God King of the Democratic Party.
Yeah.
Like, everyone was trying to fill his shoes. He can't be the peak. Or, like, people are just going to keep voting Republican.
I'm begging, bro. He can't be the peak.
Like, it was important for a black man to finally have achieved the highest office in America.
Yeah.
But he didn't really do anything to help people.
He didn't do anything to help black people.
Yeah.
Like, that's the point of diversifying positions of power, is that it will give us a better way to advocate for those marginalized in society.
Yeah, better representation.
Exactly. But under a capitalist framework, you have people like Obama becoming the president, and then you have companies like Raytheon having like their executive board full of women, doing nothing to help women, doing nothing to help minorities.
Yeah.
Crazy.
They just become another appendage of the system that
They
oppresses
just
them.
actively oppress people that are a part of like the same, like, I don't want to say class, but like, you know what I mean? Like class as them.
Yeah. I mean, capitalism is the vehicle through which all forms of oppression take place.
Oh yeah.
Like, and that's how it happens. And if you are higher up in the rankings and capitalism is treating you well, you have no reason to change that.
Yeah.
You have no reason to. There's no incentive to do that. The profit motive doesn't incentivize you to actually help other people.
Oh, no, not at all. It
So.
actively disincentivizes you to help other people.
Obama ultimately couldn't challenge that.
Obama
And neither would Joe Biden, by the way.
Incredibly mid.
Yeah.
Joe Biden worse because at least Obama could talk.
Crazy that we have to say that an actual war criminal is mid. Like, that's mid for us.
Yeah.
Like, that's what that's how bad our political spectrum is that Obama was mid. Like, Jesus Christ,
Come on,
bro.
dog. Come on.
We
dog.
could do better. We have to do better. And that's why you're listening to Head in the Office.
That's right.
Because we imagine a better society. One where maybe I get a little bit of health care.
Effects. Maybe I could like not have to go into massive debt whenever I have to go to the hospital
Or school.
Yeah. To try to better myself, because it's literally the only way that I can, actively climb the class ladder.
True. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. It doesn't feel like it right now.
There's actually no guarantee.
I'm getting beat down right now.
At this point, there's no guarantee that that's even going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's why you're listening to Head in the Office.
Exactly. That's why you're listening to us. So you can take these talking points. You can maybe learn a thing or two. Maybe. Radicalize your friends.
Yeah. Feel free to fact check us.
Fight your family.
Fight them.
Radicalize them too.
And then after you fight them and successfully win, because you will.
Exactly.
I have faith in you.
Yeah. You can
after
do
you
it,
win, be like, you should really listen to this podcast. Put your uncle on the pod.
Just plug us real quick.
Put your dad on the pod. Put your aunt on the pod. Put anybody that you're arguing with on the pod. When you get together with your family during this holiday season to celebrate, be like, hey guys, I listened to this really cool podcast.
Yeah, I just love Head in the Office. When you get family friends, when you get together with your Friendsgiving friends, you know how it be.
Yeah. Just celebrate. We could celebrate the holidays with you.
Exactly.
Invite us into your home.
Do us a solid.
Invite us into your home. Play us during Thanksgiving. Be like, listen to these really cool guys.
Yeah.
And we appreciate you. But before we go, got to give our special shout outs.
Speaking of specific people we appreciate.
Exactly. We got to give a shout out to Cricket Scrapbook Layouts, Nikki Nine Lives, Kaden Kraut, Terrence Nicholson, Chris the Postman, Christy Beck, and my mom. Thank you for supporting the show on Patreon.
Couldn't have done this new stew stuff without you.
And we still got more to do. More to do. And for our patrons, we're going to drop the studio tour as soon as we can.
Exactly. Maybe we're shooting for like next week.
Yeah.
Like the week after Thanksgiving is probably when it will drop.
Yeah.
And next Sunday, the Sunday after, or I guess this Sunday, because you'll be listening on Wednesday. We record on Sundays. This Sunday, hopefully we'll have it all ready.
Yeah.
And it all finished.
And we'll give you guys a big reveal. So if you want to see that, you can check out the Patreon. You know
how it be.
And you'll get videos of the progress, and we'll put it all together nice for you.
Exactly.
We'll make it
Talk
nice
to
for
me
you.
nice.
We'll make it nice for you. Thanks for listening to the show, everybody.
On that note, have a great one.
Good luck
Have
during
a good
the holiday
Thanksgiving.
season. Yeah. Good luck during the holiday season.
If you celebrate.
We'll talk to y'all later.